Hey guys, I have a quick question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? If so, well, you might want to consider Anchor. So when Jesse and I first started doing this, we had a lot of questions. We had no idea what we were doing. How do we record an episode? How do we even get it out there to people? And truth be told, Anchor, which is the app we use to record this, made all of this incredibly simple. We are both what you could call technologically challenged, and we can use this with simplicity. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, just go to anchor.fm/start. You can make a profile, and honestly, you can start recording probably within 5 minutes. Hit an upload button, and it automatically adds it to all these platforms that you listen to us on. So again, that's anchor.fm/start, and you can get started right away.
There it goes.
We're live, kind of.
Yep.
It's Bell Let's Talk Day.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
When you talk,
Should give a shout out to that.
yeah. You guys are gonna be listening to this a week after.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit too late.
I was just writing up a post for that. I haven't posted it yet, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
What are you gonna talk about?
I decided just to kind of try and simplify things as much as possible. I was like, I'm going to do a 3 or 4 part series, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, no, I'll just kind of, keep it simple. I just used a quote that there was this one guy that when I did my master's, he was kind of like who I read about the most because he was like the expert in my field. His name was Robert Dancer, doesn't really matter. But one quote that he used was, "The brain is not a privileged organ," and that's one that I'll never forget. It basically just means that like we kind of just always think of the brain as like it just is, that's the way it is, and we don't really have any control over it.
Right.
But truth is, like, it's, even though it is in a way separated from the rest of the brain by the blood-brain barrier, that only does so much, and still everything else that goes on in our body interacts with the brain and influences it. And so it's just a little bit about that, about how like, hey, like it's not, quote unquote just in your head, like there's
Right.
actual like structural functional changes that are happening here. And just like the rest of your body, it's vulnerable to basically your everyday life.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure by this point everyone will have read that post. I'm looking forward to
Hopefully
reading it too. It's obviously a very, very important topic and something that any extra awareness that can be gained is super important. Mm-hmm. I was watching TSN this morning and they had a little segment on there about a goaltender for the women's Team Canada soccer team. I think kind of a brief story about her battle with her specific illnesses are depression and anxiety, and how to navigate being an athlete and seeing when you watch someone win a bronze medal at the Olympics, you see that and you're like, oh wow, that person must be very quote unquote happy, right? Or well or fit or whatever the word is, and it's really humbling to know. I think for a young athlete watching that, it'd be very humbling to know that they're not alone in that. Like you're not an exception to the rule because you're an athlete. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have total control
and because
over.
Even as a successful athlete.
Right. Yeah. The success doesn't make an illness go away.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Yeah, so that was a good little segment about that. Obviously Bell does a lot. I was it was this morning I was watching that, and they have a little tally of how many tweets or interactions have been made using that Bell Let's Talk hashtag, and it was over 12 million this morning at 8 o'clock.
That's crazy.
12 million. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. That's pretty cool. And they donate 5 cents per interaction or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's good. Really, really good. I saw Quinn's company B Clutch is donating $5 for every order.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. Money doesn't solve the issue, but it definitely helps with research and development of better services for people that need them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that even just in the last few years, it's come a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can still kind of remember, it wasn't that long ago when people would kind of I guess if we're talking about like neuropsychiatric disorders, it wasn't too long ago where people would kind of just, almost like push them to the side and ignore them in a way. And I think that's come a long way, which is encouraging.
Yeah, for sure. Or saying things like, "Oh, suck it up." Or
Yeah,
stuff
exactly.
Like that, right? It's nice that's not the case. For the most part, I'm sure there's exceptions to that rule, but I mean,
yeah.
As society keeps going the way it's going, those people eventually just get pushed out.
I actually heard a good commercial the other day. It was some lady with like clinical OCD, and she was just talking about like, the saying how, and I'm absolutely bad for this too. I use this a lot, just like habitually, like, oh, you're OCD, or I'm so OCD, when really
Right.
like you're clearly not.
Yeah.
Because she was explaining how like, well, no, you're not, because I am OCD, and like I'll spend like 12 to 16 hours a day like trapped in rituals, unable to leave my house, and I was like, fuck, like,
That's crazy. Yeah, me too.
So
You unintentionally use it in a joking way, and it's something that has to be learned, just like using the R word now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I remember in high school, for me, that would have been over 10 years ago, but that was something, like, you just use it,
Big
and don't
time.
even think about it, and it was seemingly that everyone was using it. And I mean, obviously it's not the right word, right? Like, and people can say, "Oh, well, that's not what I mean." It's like, well, use the word that you mean then.
Yeah.
Don't use that word. But it's further than that now. We're all the way through. We're covering all the diseases and creating healthy environments for those people to feel comfortable coming forward with the issues that they're having and seeking help if they are comfortable with doing that, or confiding in somebody who's not going to judge them. Yeah, it's a good topic.
it is.
It's good that stuff's going on. We have some big topics that are kind of in line with Bell Let's Talk, but let's start a little easy breezy with the light stuff. Just kind of going over the changes to the CrossFit Games season and what that could mean for other
organizations.
organizations.
I like that start.
A little bit easier. Get the cobwebs out. Get the marbles out of our mouth.
Ease into the fiery topics.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah. So I guess who's it? Sean Woodland and Tommy Marquez released a podcast a couple weeks ago called Talking Elite Fitness. Mm-hmm. They have 4 episodes now. They're kind of doing reflections on each sanctioned event. But their first episode was all about their experience because they were media guys for CrossFit. So they were I think they were very...
Are these 2 guys that got canned?
Yeah, they got canned.
Sorry,
yeah.
Can you repeat their names?
Sean Woodland and Tommy Marquez. They're always on the update show.
Yeah, I recognize both of those names.
Sean Woodland has like the most perfect announcer voice ever.
Oh, I know who you mean. That guy got canned?
Yeah.
Man, that's BS.
All the media people are gone. So that was crazy. You can listen to that podcast on your own.
He's the tall, bald guy?
That's right, yeah. You can listen to the podcast and hear their story about their firing. It was very, very shady. They didn't know anything about what was going on. And, I mean, it's not a good situation when you have something going a certain way and then seemingly just have the rug pulled out of you for no reason other than the company on a whim deciding that they want to go in another
not
direction.
even the company. The head honcho decided he himself, without talking to the rest of the company, which is the people and the things that put it to where it got to in the first place, like the people that were responsible for elevating it, he didn't talk to them and he just canned them.
That's the crazy part. It's like how, like, these media guys and the media team and all the coverage that they put out, the guys like Mars Media that put together all the documentaries that are on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has Netflix though, right? So there's no exposure there. I'm looking at this, I'm like, if you want to get the word out as to what CrossFit is, Like they were gonna have CBS Sports, I think, CB something, covering regionals and the games this year. There was a contract that was done and signed. It was going to be mainstream television, prime time television coverage, where they would have control over commercials and things like that are shown. So in a situation like that, you're showing the elite of the elite, the best of the best, do the sport, like watching an NHL game. But what's in a commercial during an NHL game? Canadian Tire, what's that? What's their thing?
There's so many. They have like the Canadian Tire. They have the Timbits
Hockey.
Yeah,
They have all that promotional stuff for like starting baseline level hockey and promoting the experience of these kids watching the NHL and then having dreams of becoming an NHL player. Like CrossFit could have done that and could have taken that approach to building this vision of CrossFit Health, which I mean, if you walk into an affiliate, that's what it is. Everyone understands that the CrossFit Games is an anomaly, and those are the people that are the best at exercise racing.
Which is how every single fucking sport on the face of the planet is.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it works. Like, a little kid grows up watching Hockey Night in Canada Saturday nights. They realize, oh, this is the best of the best, but hey, this is amazing. I want to grow up to maybe have a chance to do this, so I'm going to start playing hockey at the grassroots. Like, people know it starts at the local arena. It starts at the local CrossFit gym. It makes no sense.
It is so puzzling to me. It doesn't make... It really makes no sense at all. If you're looking at... You want to grow the sport, you want to grow the impact, you want to grow just as a business and make more money, if that's how they're looking at it solely from that perspective. If you want to increase the health and using CrossFit as a catalyst to allow these people to get more fit and live a healthy, active lifestyle and get a community aspect built in, then why not use your coverage on a mainstream channel to promote that to millions of eyeballs? So many eyeballs are on the TV. How many people are going to... I don't even know how you're going to be able to watch the CrossFit Games a year because they don't have a media team. So, like, you're going to watch it off an iPhone, right? Like, you're going to watch it off, like, some guy's brother's live Instagram feed. I have no idea how it's going to work.
Your buddy that you know is heading down in an RV is going to stream it on his phone on his Facebook page.
Yeah. And everyone will just be watching it that way. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. It's pretty unfortunate.
It almost seems fishy to me. It's like so obvious that there's no way that, what's his name? Greg and whoever else was behind this. Seems like it was just Greg, but it almost seems too obvious that he didn't know and there's like something else going on that he was trying to avoid or trying to work around, or I don't know. There has to be something there. Like a legality thing, or...
Right.
Maybe it makes his job so much easier not having that mainstream exposure, but he still benefits hugely financially. I don't know. Seems like there's something there.
Yeah. Obviously, there was a lot of money going out in order to have all that media coverage, especially the quality that they were getting to. Yeah. It was legit. Like the update shows and the coverage of the games and the announcements and the coordination between the cameras and the announcers. Like, I don't know if you watch any of the Waterpalooza stuff, but it's like they're describing something and I'm looking at a stack of weights. Yeah. Like, what is going on here? It's just not the same. So you're going to lose viewership. You're going to lose eyeballs on the sport. You're going to lose that whole marketing sort of approach. It's gone. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. So I just thought of another guy. I can't think of his name. Who's the one who would always have kind of like the smart comment, but he would always talk about how he just like thoroughly enjoys watching the games athletes suffer. He would absolutely love when they threw like the ridiculous events at them. God. And he would be like, that's amazing. I hope that they suffer. I want to see them go through as much pain as possible.
Yeah,
that guy was hilarious. That guy was hilarious.
Yeah,
he's gone.
From CrossFit, yeah. Unless he had some other role within the organization that wasn't media related, which is possible. I'm not really sure. Yeah, he was so funny. His Instagram is great too. He's so funny. He does a linchpin stuff also, CrossFit Linchpin, that online program.
Right.
Yeah.
I did see his stuff on Instagram, yeah. Pretty funny.
Yeah, he's great. I hope, my hope with this is people like Jacob Hepner or people that have like a big YouTube sort of presence take over a little bit of this media side and just kind of make it fun. Because I'm thinking, well, if you don't know this, now I'm going to tell you, there's no open announcements that are going to go down this year. So that's part of the whole thing that's been kiboshed. So they're just going to go back to what they did in like 2011, maybe 2012, I'm not even sure, and just post the workouts online. That's how you get the information. I'm sure there will be some sort of demo video, I would hope, some sort of workout video similar to what these sanctional events are doing for their qualifiers. It's like, hey, here's the workout, here is kind of the breakdown and the standards, and go and do the workout. But there's not going to be an announcement. So I hope people like Jacob Hepner or somebody with a strong social media presence, even like Vellner, Brooke Wells, Brooke Entz. I know she's not really that big into CrossFit anymore, but she has a huge social media presence. I hope people like that take it and be like, hey, here's the open workout. Here are my thoughts. I'm going to go do the workout right now live. You can watch me do it. Once I recover, I'm going to give you guys a full breakdown. Hepner's been doing that for sanctional qualifier events, which he's completely breaking. He's breaking workouts. It's amazing to watch, but I hope somebody like that does it, because it gives people like you and I who I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of these athletes, and I want to be able to watch them perform at the highest level, because it's inspiring to me. It's cool that I can work every single day with our population that has a whole mix of people from regional level all the way down to brand new, from 70-something years old to 12 years old, and what CrossFit does for those people, and then also see it as a sport and what it does at that level, and what someone is physically capable of doing is super, super impressive and fun to watch for me. I just like it.
Absolutely. I agree.
So to have that gone would be a sad day for me. I don't want that to happen.
It's a pain in the ass trying to go to Facebook, go to these random ass streaming websites, trying to find some shitty stream to watch a big event.
Yeah.
With lots of big names.
And if it's going to be a paid subscription, get it right.
Yeah.
No offense, Flow Elite, but come on, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know if anyone else listening had this same experience, but Keelan and I were trying to tune into a little bit of the Wadapalooza the other weekend, and figured out that you had to have a subscription to watch it. Went to Flow Elite or whatever. It was like the cost of it was ridiculous. I don't know. It was like
$9.99, I think,
something like
American
that per month.
Right. Yeah.
And there's probably some type of long-term commitment. Like, no, I just want to watch this one single event.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, didn't get it. Next day, go on YouTube. Thought maybe something would be up. Sure enough, Flow Elite had been transferring their videos that people were paying for onto YouTube. So it was the exact same coverage, but the coverage was absolutely atrocious anyways. So then you had the people commenting on the video like, F you, I paid for this, now you're putting it on YouTube for free. And then there was the other people that were like, F you, this is awful video coverage, which it was.
Right.
And it was just a gong show.
Yeah. It's going to be definitely an adjustment period for everyone. Like the thing is somebody's going to have to step up to do that media coverage. Otherwise, people are going to lose interest in it as a sport. And there's a large population of people that like CrossFit as a sport that don't even do CrossFit. They just enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
They see the stuff on Netflix. They follow along on social media. It has a fan base now. So to take that element out of it is detrimental to CrossFit as a whole, in my opinion, for sure. There's lots of sanctional events that are going on, and I'd really like to see. I mean, Fittest in Cape Town's going on this week. It's free, the coverage, but I haven't looked yet to see. It's just the first day today.
Nor have I.
I saw a video, Training Think Tank shared it, of Lucas Parker going through the obstacle course, which it looked good. If that was the coverage that they had, then like the video was clear. It sounded good. It seemed to flow like with the sound and with the video. So that's an improvement from last week. But there's big names there. I want to watch them.
I know.
Throw down, and I don't want to have to watch it live. Yeah, first world problems, but like...
Not to mention, what's the time difference?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably...
a few hours.
I have no idea what it would be, but it wouldn't be kind of in between 9 and 7 for us, I would not think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be different for sure.
hopefully they'll throw it up on YouTube afterwards or something.
Yeah.
Just
like
Dubai one was okay for that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I forget what the time difference was. It's huge. It's like 10 or 11 hours or something like that. But anyways, they were pretty good for that. Like, coverage was okay, but they would record it, throw it right up on YouTube the next day. So
did they?
It was decent, yeah.
Tommy Marquez, the guy that had that podcast, he was working with the media team there, so I'm sure that had something to do with it. So, I mean, that's a good thing for these guys, is they're probably going to get picked up by these sanctional events to, like, do little odd jobs and help them streamline things a little bit, and they may end up being, like, a contracted employee, and maybe for them it's going to end up being more lucrative than what they were doing in terms of, like, a financial gain, but it still sucks.
Yeah.
Especially for them, because they put so much work and dedication into building the CrossFit Games from a media standpoint. Why couldn't they do the same thing for CrossFit Health? If this is their new initiative, just have these guys focus on that. You saw what they did with the games. They can do the same thing with CrossFit Health. They can create all the videos. They can create documentaries. They can create the social media posts and the update shows, or whatever you want to call them, and keep the momentum going. But not having that there is going to be tricky to navigate for sure.
Sort of those two on this podcast, like, did they actually reveal some other changes that weren't necessarily public yet, or was it kind of just like reviewing everything as a whole?
They were just reviewing. They don't know anything.
Yeah.
Sean Woodland was telling the story of how he found out about the changes to the CrossFit Game season. He had some girl living with him and his family. She was out in the garage working out. He went out the garage to get in his car to go to work at CrossFit. And she's like, "Oh, did you see the changes to the season?" And he's like, "What?" Yeah, it's on, what's that website? Morning Chalk Up.
We talked about it, yeah.
I forget who released it first. Anyway, but it was like some third-party person that leaked all the information, and CrossFit didn't say anything. I mean, their rule book just got released a few weeks ago, after there was already a qualifying event that had taken place. There's growing pains here, but there's no reason for this to be happening that I can see. So that's the frustrating part. It's like, I get it. It's going to be bumpy. It's going to be rocky, just like the open and sectionals at the beginning, and then open and regionals in the games most recently. Like, there was growing pains associated with it, and it got better every single year. But why take 400 steps backwards and kind of start over? It's annoying. I'm annoyed. It's good news for the international functional fitness thing, though.
Right.
That is starting to grow at, like, local club levels, provincial club levels, national club levels. I mean, the good thing about that is it's going to be a lot more regulated in terms of coaching and development of athletes from a young age all the way through. So I think the longevity and health of a functional fitness athlete is going to be drastically improved, because they're going to have better services available to them and a little bit more of a direct line from A to B to C and so on. Like, in terms of even just developing a skill, it's going to be a lot better for the kids coming up, and
right.
It's going to be more like, again, just using hockey, right? Like, there's the hockey coaching certifications that you need to go through. And then at each level, like Tyke all the way through, there's certain skills and drills that the coaches are responsible for communicating to the kids and having them run through those drills, so that when they progress into the next stage, they're physically, mentally ready for that next stage, not just being thrown to the wolves. So that's obviously going to be a huge improvement. And there's tons of stuff that I could talk about with international functional fitness and how much I love it. We talked about it before on the podcast with Lacey.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go back and listen to that one, we kind of outlined what it is and why we think it's going to be a huge success long-term and what the goal is with that. But in short, it's going to help that more. There's already been more interest in terms of higher level athletes being interested in taking that route. So
yeah, it's a good time for them to rise with the other shitstorm going on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And they can just kind of stay their course and take the time that they need to do and make sure that, you know, they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's and making sure that they're doing everything step by step the right way to avoid something like this happening for them, really. Yeah. I mean, the CrossFit Games, they're not gone, but it's just, I'm curious to see
It's going to be a lot different.
what happens. Yeah.
So we had a few other things, though, that we wanted to talk about. Kind of, I guess they're more so related to Bell Let's Talk, right?
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important to connect it to that for sure.
So I guess the first thing was this whole J-Lo mess.
Yeah.
So maybe you've seen a few people repost this. I ended up reposting it. I never even seen J-Lo on Instagram before this.
No,
I didn't
me
even know
neither.
she was still around.
Yeah.
But so basically, I mean, what she did was, and like first of all, keep in mind, like her following is absolutely massive. I can't even give you a number right now. Maybe
I'll try
we
to
can
look
look
it
it
up
up quick.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you're talking.
Like just a massive influencer like that. So I mean, essentially, what she did was posted this. It was a 10-day challenge where you completely remove sugar and carbohydrates. So you might think like, well, who cares? Like, you know, what's the big deal with that? She's kind of, you know, promoting changes for health, yada yada. So let's see here.
All right. So J-Lo has 85.7 million followers. That post that we're talking about had almost 2.5 million likes.
Good Lord.
So I can only imagine, right, like once you look at it and see the reach of this post,
Yeah.
how many people it actually reached. And we probably helped it reach more people because both of us shared it. Right. But
not to mention like the picture she posted along with the challenge is her in a bikini, and like she's pretty fit. So I mean, that alone right there, like I don't know how old she is by now, but she looks good for her age, pretty fit. So she posts this challenge, and so now you just imagine like, well, what's the huge majority of her followers? It's first of all, it's young people who are more suggestive,
right,
and it's probably the majority young females who are also suggestive.
Yeah.
And like we know that this is a huge issue right now. Well, I mean, go back to Bell Let's Talk. Like, there's no question that a huge factor in the increase in mental illness these days is from social media. No one can debate that.
No.
I don't care what you say.
Yeah. If you say that's not true, then you shit rainbows and you have a unicorn in your backyard.
You're not in the times.
Come on. Yeah.
So this is, I mean, the problem is that she's just throwing this out there to the masses who, you know, may not appreciate how and why that can be damaging, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing that for just a few days, okay, that's fine, but let's be serious. That's not going to happen. Like, all these young people are going to try this. Maybe they see some initial weight loss right away, and then maybe they do this long term. They keep exercising more and more and more. Well, now you're going to have a ton of metabolic issues, some HP axis dysfunction. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, we've talked about all these different things before, but it's just the message that it sends and the potential problems that it creates.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I mean, you know, sure, I talk about the ketogenic diet a lot, which is low carbohydrates, but never have I ever forced that upon someone, and never have I ever said carbs are bad, no one should eat carbs.
Exactly.
No, there's a huge population of people who absolutely need carbs, and if you're not consuming those, like the people who are exercising a lot, competitive athletes, people training at high intensity, you know, 4, 5, 6 days a week, like those people need carbs. If they're not getting the carbs, this is where the problem comes in. But guess what? All her followers who are very suggestive, they don't know this.
Right.
They see this massive figure posting this and they say, oh, damn, she looks good. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, there's no education in this post, right? What you're doing with your ketogenic diet seminars is you're taking something that you know is a hot topic and something that's really gaining momentum, and you're providing individuals that may be interested in doing this for whatever reason with the information and the facts about what the true outcomes could be of this and the different looks it could have and what the goal is. This post literally says, day 4 and feeling a little better. Who's with me? hashtag 10-day challenge, hashtag no carbs, no sugar. And it's just her in a bikini, smiling, being jacked, being super hot. Like, I don't, you need to understand your influence. Like, on a surface level, what she's doing is promoting some sort of 10-day challenge fad diet thing for whatever reason. I'm not sure whether she has some financial interest in this, where the driving force is coming from. She's probably the only one that knows that. On a surface level, she's promoting some sort of fad diet that we know can be very detrimental to someone's health. Deeper than that, she's also tugging at the insecurities and the vulnerabilities of individuals that may not have the coping skills or the awareness to know that this is bullshit. And she's shoving it down their throat like, hey, look at me. Yeah. You can look like me if you do this for 10 days. What happens after 10 days? If I ate no carbs, no sugar for 10 days, you know what I'm doing on day 11? I'm rocking 17 pizzas and 14 milkshakes, and I'm going to fall asleep fat and happy. That's what's going to happen, because you create such a deficiency. And with having carbs in my diet, like, I eat quite a few carbs in a day to fuel my exercise and for my body type and for my specific goals. That's not for everybody either. I'm sure the average person who saw this post eats a substantial amount of carbs in a day, just in terms of like bread, products, and whatever. It doesn't have to be like super sugary foods, but carbs are a staple in the North American diet. There's no debating that for sure. Definitely on like the high end too. So again, on the surface level, it's a nutrition suggestion that's very poor. Deeper than that, she's messing with people psychologically, and that's a bigger issue that I have. It's not helping anyone in any way at all. All it's doing is setting someone up for failure and forcing them into that cycle of failing over and over and over again with no direction of how to actually improve themselves, because they're not being educated. They're just being shamed, basically. Like, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, I need to do this in order to look like that, you try it. 10 days, you're not going to look like that, maybe. And it's like, oh, I didn't eat sugar and I failed, and now I'm really hungry and I'm going to rock 17 pieces of 14 milkshakes to make myself feel better. And you're just...
It's that
vicious cycle, and you're just feeding on that. And it's gross. Yeah. It's super gross.
Or it could go the other way around, where maybe they get some quick results, and then they think that, again, uneducated, suggestible, think that they need to constantly, continuously do that.
Right.
And then, I mean, I don't know, there's so many different examples of what we could talk about of what it could lead to, but I mean, take something like hypothyroid. Like, I've found that this is becoming more and more popular nowadays. Like, it's everywhere. So, I mean, this is how something like that would start. Like, a younger generation severely restricting calories, severely restricting carbs, probably increasing exercise volume to try and get to this peak image that they see.
That's right.
And then they're just kind of digging themselves a hole over time, just stressing the body out and then causing all sorts of problems in the long run.
Yeah. And somebody might be listening to us and be like, oh, guys, you're looking into this too much. But the thing is, these influencers need to understand the reach and the impact that they have on people's lives. And like you said, the amount of mental illness that you're seeing pop up in the younger generation, like adolescents and things like that, it is very closely, I'm sure, related to this sort of social media presence that there's so much information being shoved down their throat of how they're supposed to be and how they're supposed to feel and what they're supposed to do. And it's changing the chemistry. It's changing the whole makeup of their brain. Like you talked about, it's not a static thing. Like, it's constantly changing, and the input that you put into that in your environment has a big impact on those things.
Yeah, you have to try and put yourself in the head of like a 13, 14, 15-year-old young girl or boy. It's hard to do. I can't really do it.
Right.
Because we were never exposed to this type of like social media or technology at that age. But I mean, that's that's where the concern is. Like what she's posting, someone like that, I don't give a shit. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect you. Right. Listener probably doesn't affect you. You don't care because you're able to just filter that out and say, I don't really care what she's doing.
That's right.
That's not how it is with the younger ones.
Yeah.
They spend so much time on the phone, on the social media, and invest so much interest and what's the word, like priority on it. It's I mean, and then like I said, like there's no surprise that kind of mental illness has gone up because it's one of those things it's one of those factors that's, you know, it's like you said, it's changing the neurobiology every single day.
Yeah. Like we're obviously a lot better at diagnosing and understanding these diseases as well. So that I acknowledge that is a factor. But I mean, you're listening right now. What's the first thing you see and the last thing you see in a day? For most people, it's going to be their cell phone, right? There are alarms on there. They hit it. They check their notifications. They see what's there before they go to bed. It's like they're scrolling through Instagram or whatever. You go to bed with that information. It's too new to understand the magnitude of the impact that can have on a developing brain.
Right.
We're fully functioning adults, kind of, so they say, that are supposed to have the coping skills to do that. I don't have a mental illness, so I can never relate to somebody who has anxiety or depression or any other mental illness and the impact that something like that could have. Think of somebody who has body image issues, right? For real mental illness, eating disorder, something like that. They see something like this, it forces them back into that cycle. No matter what, you can't say, oh, well, don't look at it. It's right there, guys, right? Like, that's too naive. It's too surface level. It's like, that would be like something that my grandparents would tell me, right? It's like, oh, just don't look at it. I'm like, Grandma, come on. It's in my pocket all day long. Like, this is just the way of the world. How many times are you checking Facebook a day, Grandma? Like 14 probably, right? Like, it's there, and you can't ignore that, and you can't downplay it and put it back on that kid because that's not helping them either. That's making them feel helpless and that they're all by themselves, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. And these challengers are the problem. Dude, and we're going to get into that right now because I'm onto it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So I don't specifically want to make any references to specific people or gyms or things that I'm seeing. So I'm going to try and keep this like as not personal as possible and just explain the issues, the underlying issues of these challenges. So you see things like, you see Facebook ads that are targeting a specific demographic. And I think I have a screenshot of one here.
Yeah, you literally have to, I've been playing around with Facebook ads a little bit lately. Like, you literally have to identify your target market and audience when you put that ad together. So
right.
It's, I mean, anyone who doesn't know that, like, it's fully by design. Like, if you see an ad that is targeted at you.
Yeah, it's a Facebook ads. There's whole marketing courses that you take for that.
Yeah.
There's templated marketing systems that you can purchase and copy and paste onto your business Facebook account. And those marketing tools work. They work because they're solely from a sales perspective. And if you're in the health and wellness industry, that cannot be your major driving force. You have to want to make an impact on people and actually help them. Right, that's where your value comes from.
Yeah, that's the issue. Because they're literally, we know a lot about psychology nowadays. Like, we know a lot about we know what specific colors do to your brain, like what types of emotions those trigger.
Yeah. Like,
the point being is that marketing, again, this is another thing we've talked about before, but like the point is that marketing is so sophisticated right now that it's not marketing, it's more science now than anything. Mm-hmm. It's like, what can I say and write and show that's going to trigger this exact emotion that I want to trigger? Right. And then how can I follow that with another word or image or color that's going to trigger the second emotion that I want? And then it's kind of just this kind of complex plan, which ultimately in the end leads you to, you know, whatever, clicking on something, buying something, doing something.
Right. Yeah, throwing in buzzwords, lots of buzzwords to get the Facebook ad thing, like AdWords going up. There's a whole algorithm to this stuff. People do this for a living.
Yeah.
They do Facebook ads for a living and they crush it and it works really, really well. and I don't have a problem with ads working well if they are honest ads and they're truly there to bring value to people and help them. The issue that I have is a lot of these things that I've been seeing, especially this time of year, and this grosses me out. I know why it's this time of year, because New Year's resolutions, and we're about 4 weeks out from New Year's, and people are starting to fall off the wagon. So what are companies going to do? They're going to attack these insecurities of these people that have tried and failed their New Year's resolution already, make them feel like a piece of shit, and then try to sell them something without selling them anything. They're going to offer it for free. They're going to offer it for free. They're going to say it's a $600 value or $800 value or $5 value. I don't care what the value is. They're going to say it's valued at this X free. You're going to show up to that consultation. This is what's going to happen. The person's going to look at you and they're going to say, hey, cool, why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. Go through the whole script that they've memorized, because it's a system and that's what happens, which is fine. Again, it's a sales thing. But the issue is, before you leave that consultation, they're going to ask for your credit card. And you're going to be like, what? I thought this was for free. I got a voucher. I got a coupon, right? This is supposed to be a free experience for me. It's like, oh, no. You have to do X, Y, Z, and it'll be free. We're going to charge your card today. If you hit X, Y, Z, you get your money back. If you don't hit X, Y, Z, we keep your money. If that isn't the biggest scam, there's zero caring in that. And the argument, I get the argument, it's going to be like, oh, well, it's getting people in the doors and we're getting more contact with people. And the more contact we get with people, the more we can help them. Bullshit. You're trying to line your pockets. You can package it any way you want. Like, that's borderline, like, you're a sociopath. If you think that that's okay,
that's true.
You got something like that, you're deliberately lying to this person and taking advantage of the insecurities to benefit yourself.
Yeah. I'm
not sure what the definition of a sociopath is, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to that.
I would say.
Like, that's crazy talk, dude. You know what? If your service is worth $600, charge $600 for your service and provide that person with the value that you're promising them. Don't back end, skirt around, be weird and lie and manipulative to this person. Force them to do something that may not even be reasonable or realistic for that person to achieve. So say it's like a 12-week challenge or a 40-day challenge, 30-day challenge. I think it's usually, from what I've seen, it's like 30-day challenge, 42-day challenge, or like a weight loss challenge. Use buzzwords like Biggest Loser because the TV show, which is a whole separate issue. How many people actually maintain the weight that they lose on their Biggest Loser? I can tell you it's zero. It's a public knowledge. You Google it. It's all out there. There's horror stories of people that have been on that show, gone off, completely relapsed, gone the other way, and developed some serious illnesses, metabolic stresses from the whole process that they've gone through. But those are like the main things that I'm seeing, and they'll poke at you, right? They'll center out like a group of people, like what's one?
You had a good example of what was it? Well, it was just like a stay-at-home mother, and then they kind of like make reference to your husband, or
yeah. So the one I've seen is like exactly that. It's worded really, really sexy, you know. It's like busy mom, or like selfless mom, or something like that. For the selfless mom is the one that I read, and it pokes at you, right? It's like having trouble losing that baby weight. Husband doesn't find you attractive anymore. Don't have any time for yourself. Like, just poking at and just like, what emotional stresses could this person be under? Let's just poke all of them.
Yeah.
We'll just go fishing. She'll bite on one of them and we'll reel her in. And then when you show up to the consultation, and I'm saying this because people tell me this stuff. I've worked for businesses that do this. I've quit businesses that have done this.
This is in London.
This is in London. And it's not even the big box things. Like, I get it. From the big box things, it's expected. Everyone knows that's what you're going to get. They offer you a discounted membership and they try to upsell you. You know that's what's going to happen when you go in. They try to sell you on their jacuzzi tubs and their saunas and their this and that and their personal training and their 5-week boot camps and their whatever. They just... $10 a month, but we're going to try and sell you all this stuff. Worst case scenario, you're spending $10 a month and you're probably never going to come because they don't offer you any support. They make money off people not coming to their gym rather than helping people get better. So then you come in for this consultation and it'll be things like you blindside them with this $5 ticket price. I don't know, $5, $600, $1,000. The price doesn't matter. The fact is you've been lied to already. They hit you with that and you're like, whoa, okay, well, this isn't free. That's a big financial commitment for me. I'm going to have to check with my loved ones and the people that are sharing my finances and make sure that this is going to be okay. And they say, oh, those people don't value your health. Holy fuck, dude. Are you serious right now? Come on. Like you're putting a gun to somebody's head and like it's brutal. I've heard the same thing from nutrition consultations lately. And this is even like I'm sending people out to find out this information. It's like people are coming to see us with this sort of like terrible experience and they're nervous when they're talking to us because they've had this experience in the past, right?
They don't want the same thing again, yeah.
They don't want it to happen again. So then you lose trust in the whole system. And again, the big box things, I get it. Smaller businesses, local businesses that are supposed to be helping the community and help the community grow and be healthier and develop a sense of like fitness community at a lower level in small gyms. Why are you doing that? Why? Is it to line your pockets? You're not helping anyone, right? Like what do these people do afterwards? After they're done their 30-day challenge? Are you offering ongoing support? I hope so. And you can package it any way you want. It's like, oh, well, we've made an impact on these people for 30 days, so now they're going to trust us. So like, why would they trust you? You lied to them at the beginning. You probably put them through, if it's some sort of like crazy detox plan or Biggest Loser challenge, you just beat the shit out of them for 30 days. And then you're like, okay, your challenge is done now, but we're going to offer you this sort of support. And they're like, dude, I'm dead. You just completely depleted me. I feel like I'm going to die. That was the most miserable time of my life. But I lost 20 pounds, so give me my $600 back. Peace. I've heard of people doing that too. Yeah. They sign up for these challenges, and they just game the system. They're like a guy, and they know they're going to lose 15 pounds because, you know, those guys, rascals. They can just pull it off. You know the guys I'm talking about too, right? Like there's always that one guy who just like doesn't do anything, just kind of chilling, playing hockey, and then he shows up for a 30-day challenge and loses like 40 pounds. Sure. So they just game the system. They'll show up, they'll lose their 20 pounds or whatever, get their $600 back and never go back. They use them for that. But again, the surface level thing is the weight loss and the challenge and this, but you got to take into consideration the emotional stress that you're putting on that person for the pressure of achieving this goal that isn't theirs. It's a goal of the challenges. You put that pressure on them to achieve this goal, and if they don't do it, not only are they going to have a financial repercussion, but emotionally they're going to feel completely defeated. Hey, you didn't hit your goals. We're going to keep your $600, but feel free to continue at our gym. Come on, dude. Oh, it fires me up.
Well said. I don't even have much to say in response to that because you covered absolutely every angle possible.
Just I can hear the rebuttals in my mind, like I'm talking about it, and I can hear what that gym would say as a rebuttal, and it's like, okay, cool. So you read your marketing strategy book. Are you a human being or are you a robot? Like, do you actually care about these people and their success long term? Do you have value? Because, like, okay, so Chet, you want to run a 12-week nutrition coaching program at West London CrossFit. We're like, okay, Chet, you got to offer it for free, though. And you're like, no, man, I have value to give to this, right? Like, I'm going to put in 12 weeks, 2 times a week of work into this program for these people. There's value in there for those people and they should pay for it. Okay, cool. That's what you do then, right? Like if something carries value to it, then people pay for it and they pay for it willingly because they trust you. You developed a relationship with them before they start and you're going to guide them through the entire process to ensure that they have the tools to succeed if they cannot continue afterwards for financial reasons, time commitment, whatever. At least you know in your heart you gave them the tools to be successful long-term, not in a 30-day challenge. Yeah. That's the difference.
It's basically just the equivalent of like a kid in university plagiarizing on an exam or on an essay or whatever.
Absolutely.
Because they clearly, like, they don't have the expertise or the knowledge to actually help these people, so they're just kind of thinking of an alternative measure. Okay, how can I still make my big bucks while still remaining in this industry that I have no business being in because I don't know shit?
Nailed it.
So
100%. 100%. It's a timing too. Yeah, there's so many elements of that just make me, it's honestly, it makes me like I'm ranting about it, but it's more because I'm sad about it. Like I just think of how many people in the city that I know we could provide value for and actually help them on all levels to succeed whatever they want to achieve. It doesn't have to be whatever the challenge's goal is to set out so that you can keep their money. Right? Like, even from the perspective of, oh yeah, I'm going to help this person as much as I can so that they get their money back. Are you really? If that was your marketing plan from the beginning, and you know that $600 is sitting on that credit card, just money in the bank if they don't hit that goal, are you really going to try that hard to help them?
It's like incentive to go the other way.
Right. And you can say whatever you want, but when that's your marketing strategy and that's your driving force, I don't believe you.
Unless you're split personality, there's really no way around it.
Oh, dude, have you seen that movie, Split?
Maybe.
That dude freaks me out, man. And
I think I have, but a long time ago.
He's in a new Marvel movie, too. It's going to be sick.
Man, I can't remember.
He's such a good actor. He can, like, switch it on and off.
What superhero is he playing?
I don't know. They like escape from some asylum thing. It's like really superhero-y. We'll ask Sean. Sean will know.
He'll know.
He's probably listening and all pissed. He's like, it's this, guys. Get it together, man.
He's texting me right now, but Sean, you're a week late. I already looked it up. I already know.
Yeah.
Thanks for the text. But yeah. That's some bullshit.
Yeah. Just like, if you have value, charge what your value is, basically. That's what I'm saying. And if you're a consumer, right, and you're searching for the next thing to do, please do what you can to navigate the bullshit, because it's out there still. I thought we were getting better, and I was really pumped, and then all of a sudden this week, between the J-Lo thing and the Facebook ads that were popping up on my Facebook, I'm like, what is going on around here? I thought we were past this, especially from the smaller gyms. I'm like, dude, I thought we were so far beyond this. We're going backwards. You're going to play the big box game? Try and fill your gym with as many people as possible just to push up your bottom line. Like, if you're a small business, I can't say what your business model is, so I'll just speak on our terms. Being a small gym, being a small business, our goal is to help as many people as possible, right? But we have a limit to how many people we can do that
for. That's the key word,
with our staff, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to overreach and overstretch ourselves to a point where we can't help the people that we have, because then it just turns into the revolving door, because they're going to show up and they'll be like, man, I've been to 3 classes this week and I've gotten 1 coaching cue. I've gotten 1 high five, right? Like, those people, every single time they come into your gym, should feel like they're the most important person in that room, and that their hour at that gym is going to be the best hour of their entire day. If they don't leave feeling that way, you failed.
Yeah.
And that's a you thing. And then on the flip side, if you're harming people by manipulating them and trying to fit them into a little box that they don't belong, because they're a fully capable human being of doing whatever they want to do, if you're going to box them in to this little box and try to make them achieve something that is your goal so that you can keep their money, you're not giving them any value. Again, just goes back to that.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It's fine, though. They're the ones that have to deal with themselves.
Yeah.
A few years down the road.
That's true. I'm just tired of seeing broken people come to our gym.
Yeah.
And trying to pick up the pieces, and it doesn't happen quickly. Like you said, it especially with the amount of influence that the younger generations are getting through their social media posts. It starts so young that it could just be like a perpetual cycle for somebody's entire life, and then you end up. But I was talking to a doctor at our gym that trains there this week, and she was mentioning how, because we were kind of talking about this a little bit. Clearly, it's been on my mind all week, and she's like, yeah, you know what's really sad and difficult is when you get an individual in that is 40, 50 years old, and they're so emotionally broken from all the shit that's been pounded down their throat from marketing and advertising and all this extra stuff, that they don't even believe what you're saying when you know you have the best intentions and your goal is just to make them a healthier person. They're constantly questioning what you're saying, and you're approaching this from a medical professional not a marketing standpoint. You're like, no, listen, like, I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is what we need to do in order to get your hormones in check, or right, to increase your chances of carrying a baby, right? Things like the big life, and they're like, oh, well, I don't want to gain weight. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Man, like, that's sad, dude. Oh.
Wow, well, that's the big scale application, I guess, that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, because when you see these ads that we're talking about, people don't really think anything of it, but you kind of have to zoom out and appreciate the whole picture that, okay, this is just one thing. If the same person gets exposed to this a couple times, these are like the big real life issues that could really happen. That's right. And those are like the ones that, like you just said, like those are the ones that everyone can appreciate. Like, that's real, like that's messing up your life type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it changes your whole life plan and takes away stuff that you otherwise could have if it wasn't for that. Well.
But yeah, well said. Well said.
I think we covered it.
Be nice to hear from you guys though, if anyone else maybe, I don't know, if you've had a similar experience or you have some friends or family who had a similar experience.
Yeah.
Just let us know. It'd be interesting to hear some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting just having conversations about it. How many people have kind of come forward. And I saw, where is she? So Healthy Obsession Wellness is a gym in London and Port Stanley, I think. Sorry if that's wrong. But she earlier this week just posted on her story a similar rant to what we just went off on. So, I mean, like, there's people out there that have the right intentions, and I'm very happy that London has that. In here, it's just it's hard to navigate when you have these really good marketing things out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're looking for a gym, interview the gym. Don't let them interview you. Don't let them push you any single way, right? You go into the gym with a list of questions and things that you want, list of essentially demands that you want and standards that you want from your gym. And if that gym doesn't provide that for you, then go somewhere else.
It's funny. I think people have these things, like they have their checklist, the things of what they need, what they're looking for when they're shopping for items and products.
Right.
Like if you're looking for a house, you have a list of the things you are exactly trying to find. Like, this is my price range. Totally. I want 1 to 2 bedrooms. I want parking garage, blah, blah, blah. People have that. For whatever reason, which is very bizarre. Like, they don't have that about like their body or their mind. So like when they're going out to look for, we'll just use this example. When they're going out to look for like a gym or something like that, I don't know why people don't have that though. It's like they're treating these material products with more respect than their own personal vehicle, call it, which you only get one of and you have to take care of. So it's like the same thing. Like, get your list. What do you want? What are you looking for? Like you said, have a list of questions. Like, fire back, drill that person, like stand up for yourself and, respect your one vehicle, like know what you're looking for. And I mean, often I always found like if an ad or marketing campaign or whatever sounds too good to be true, often it is. That's true. So like at least probe and find out more about it before you decide if that's right for you. Yeah. Especially those ones that, damn, that seems so good. I can't pass that up.
Yeah. And it's free?
Yeah.
Pass it up.
Yep.
Pass up the free stuff.
Of course, the problem with that is now people say at the very bottom line of the ad, no, there's no catch here. This is true.
Yeah. Free education is good. If it's an educational thing and it's for free, take advantage of that because that's just going to grow your toolbox, right? Yeah. But if it's a service, free. Yeah, if it's a service, and if it actually is free, take advantage of that stuff for sure. Because, I mean, every new experience just expands your mind, right? And you
Yeah.
learn so much more. So take advantage of that stuff. Just let's navigate through the weeds. Yeah, we're gonna run out of time. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know your feedback on this.
Yeah, please. We're getting lots of feedback, lots of ratings and stuff on iTunes. So thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate
For the
it.
love.
You can write a review or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be good either. You can be like, nah,
Yeah.
I disagree with everything you just said, because
Honestly.
all that does is help us grow more, because it checks us, and we got to go back and research again and make sure that
Yeah.
just reinforce what we're saying is true to what we actually believe also. It's all good.
Amen.
All right. Catch you next time.
Bell Let's Talk Day.
Yeah, use that.